And we need a little more. There's some cheese curds. We got some cheese curds and some crackers.
So everyone that can hear me, Deb has noted in the chat group to, you know, put your name, your institution, email address, if you can. I know those are in a big group setting, that'll be a little difficult, but those that are individual, if you can put that inside of the chat feature. And if you do not see the chat feature, I think you can just follow what I'm doing. You should be able to see my screen. Hey, Candace. It's a little early for you, right? Yep, Cal State.
It's not good. Pretty pointless if we can hear.
Hello, Miss Monique. And Mr. Martin.
It's kind of frustrating.
Wow, Iowa, you're making that that pizza look really good over there. Hey, can everyone do me just a small favor that's on? Can you just give me like a little thumbs up or a little okay in the chat box if you can hear me very well? Good. All right. I could see everyone very clear too. And second checkoff item, screen for me is very clear. You guys can see my screen okay? Okay, perfect. Okay. So guys, we talked earlier just to try to make sure that when we start, we have as much participation. We know many people will dial in at 7, and so we were going to probably get started around 7:04 or so, give a little grace period. So just bear with us. All right.
You want to ask them, like, speak where you're from? Yeah.
All right, right, we got a few more people. So I see Mr. Chase. I didn't get information in the chat. Anyone that just came in, if you can give us your name, your university, along with email address, please. In the chat feature, as you can see, you can put your chat, you can keep it open, or you can close it out, or you can just keep it open on the screen at all times if you like. I highly recommend just leave your chat feature open the whole time. Right. All right. Everyone hear me well? We're going to get started tonight. Hey guys, first off, I'd like to say thank you for joining us tonight. I really want to send a special thank you to LSMCE for allowing us to have this session. Many of you I've had a chance to speak with either at the conference or other forums. For those who are new to me, I am in partnership with LSMCE. I've spoken at a few of our annual conferences along with a few of the institutions. And then we decided this year to kind of elevate our impact for you and kind of help guide you through some professional development lessons throughout the year. Those who have worked with us before know that it's a very relaxed atmosphere. You can chime in, take your feature off of mute if you want to speak up. I highly recommend that we all speak up tonight. This is going to be very interactive, and this week we're starting off. Was that a question? No, no question. Okay. So this week we're going to start off with getting it all done with effective time management techniques. And I know when we talk about the term time management, it's not always the most attractive subject matter. So we're going to try to be a little bit more innovative in trying to help educate in this arena tonight. Just a few housekeeping rules. If you know you do have background noise, keep your phone or your web feature on mute. If you do not and you want to make sure you participate, just make sure you take it off mute. I'm able to see if you're on mute or not, so if you're trying to talk to me, I'll be able to try to help you out a little bit. If not, then let's make sure that we keep this thing interactive tonight. All right, so just a little bit of background on me. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. Anyone from Texas on the call tonight? No, we got to get one person next time. Went to school in Arkansas, got a STEM degree, been in corporate America. Oh, we got one. Been in corporate America for about 11 years now. Spoken at a few engineering conferences, national conferences, spoken at LSMCE. I founded my company a couple years ago. Just finished my book. My book will be out next week as well. That will be debuting at the conference this year as well. And as you're going to see when we talk about time management, I was an athlete in college, so I do understand the difficulties of getting a STEM degree along with a very tough schedule as it pertains to sports as well. All right. So Deb has a flyer that went out that said this learning session is designed to give you practical skills and techniques that can help you be more successful, more productive, and more effective. And so I decided to try to put a little smile on our face. I don't know, has anyone seen this commercial before? No one's seen this? All right, so here we go. Tell me your thoughts on this commercial.
Who thinks more is better than less? Okay, why?
More is better than less, because if stuff is not if there's more less stuff, then you might want to have some more, and your parents just don't let you because there's only a little bit.
Right.
We want more. We want more. Like, you really like it. You
Right.
want more.
I follow you. It's not complicated.
Like, you really like it. You
Right.
want more.
It's not complicated.
Last
More.
time.
Like, you really want more. Like, you really like it. You
Right.
want more.
I follow you. It's not complicated. More is better. And AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
All right. So does that ring a bell with anyone? All right. So if I ask the question to the group tonight, you know, what do we wish we had more of?
Funding.
Funding. All right. We wish we had more funding. All right, put it down. Give me some more. What else we got?
Publications.
Publications. Okay. What else we have? One more.
Money.
Money. Wow, money has found its way into like 2 of the 3. All right. So with that said, to be able to accomplish more funding, more publications, more money, sometimes we need a little bit more what?
Time.
Time. Thank you. So as we're thinking about this concept of time, right? You know, what key activities do we feel like we need more time for when you're pursuing these STEM degrees and these STEM careers?
Schoolwork and research.
Research. Okay. Does anyone have any other pressing items that you know you wish you had just a few more minutes for?
Data analysis.
Data analysis. Wow, I need that.
Studying.
Studying. All right. So I'm writing these things down because what I want to make sure is while we're having our discussion tonight, that we tailor our discussion based off of your specific needs. All right. So with that being said, what activities do we feel like we waste time on? Oh, this one's a little more uncomfortable.
Redoing experiments.
Okay, redoing experiments.
Social media.
One little background noise there. Okay, any other ones? We have redoing experiments. We have social media. What are the things we feel like
Writing.
we time on? What was that?
Oh, I said writing because it's just can be time consuming. Not that it's a waste, but
Okay, so this is what I want us to do. We're gonna go through just a really quick exercise. I need everyone to give me their undivided attention. I want you to look at the screen real hard, and I want you to keep your focus. And when the green is completely dissolved, then we'll stop. But for this moment in time, I really want you to keep your focus, all right? So let's see who can do it the best. Tell me when it gets uncomfortable. It's getting kind of weird, right? So how many people thought that that was more than 30 seconds? That felt like more than 30 seconds, did it? The reason that I did that exercise with you tonight is it's sometimes hard for us to really comprehend just how much time we truly have. We know there's 24 hours in a day, but when we move throughout our day with our very busy schedules, not often do we have time of just peace. And that time of peace allows us really to appreciate how much activity can truly be done. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is not about complaining about not having enough time. What we're going to try to do is develop some habits, learn some tools and techniques that allow us to truly maximize those 24 hours, because there's a lot more that can be done in that time frame if we actually put together a good system. So STEM students, STEM professors, STEM faculty, anybody feels like this? I see a few smiles. Iowa, is this what it looks like most of the time? Monday through Friday? Monday through Friday morning before Friday night gets there. So what we want to do is try to get out of this mindset, guys, and keep these smiles that we have on our faces tonight as we matriculate through these STEM degrees. So we're gonna go through this little exercise, and it's called Time Management Written by My Cell Phone. So earlier, somebody said something about having their social media be an interruption. So for us, we'll say first stop is for fun. You know, our cell phone, we have fun with it. We Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Did I miss any on here? Those are the popular ones, right? So we're gonna make a change. What's that? So we're gonna transition, right? So say a little bit more focus towards those social media techniques, and say we put a little bit more thought with it. And so we post to have relaxation with our friends, connect. We tweet for insightful messages. We converse. These don't sound as attractive, right? They're not as fun, but they're more focused, intent with those medias on for fun. But really, if we're talking about time management and being time bound, it's really a combination of both. You know, the objective here is something that I'm really proud of LSMCE this year. They have a theme that they're presenting for this year's conference, which is STEM life balance, right? And so in my industry of corporate America, we talk about work-life balance.
All right, no trouble. Yes, thank you.
Oh, I have to put you on mute. See if I can, nope, it's not allowing me to put it on mute, but our goal is gonna be STEM life, right? And so as we look at STEM life balance with our cell phones,
Wait, I don't want my face on here.
Uh-oh. If anybody's in the background,
On my computer.
if someone can turn their function on mute.
And I'm muted too.
I know who that is, but we're gonna just keep going. So one of the things we're gonna try to focus on tonight, guys, is the cell phone usage. So how to maximize our cell phone. So is there anyone on here that is very proficient with how to navigate their cell phone as it pertains to time management? And anyone can speak up for us tonight. So from a calendar standpoint, one of the things that I use and that I've worked with a lot of students on is actually loading the entire class schedule into their Gmail. Are many of the participants tonight, you guys use Gmail?
Mm-hmm.
So if you use Gmail, one of the things that you can easily do is sync all of your class schedules onto your cell phones. Are there anyone on the line tonight that are using those functions now?
Yeah.
So if you're using that function, one of the things that we notice that a lot of students have is they have their cell phone and they have their computer or their laptop, but they're not synced together. So one of the tools is to make sure that we use the proper apps where if you can try to use the same app on your cell phone and your computer, it naturally is going to gravitate. Are there any other like really good calendar apps that you guys have recommendations for each other?
I have a question real quick.
Okay.
Is there any way that you could move that text box over to the side? Because it's not letting us.
Oh, that's us.
Oh, that's us?
That's us.
Oh, sorry.
He told us to leave it on.
Oh.
But here we go.
Oh, you can take your chat off.
We did.
Okay.
Time to go to work today.
Okay. So as it pertains to the calendars on the cell phones, the question that I have for the team was, does anybody have any recommendations for others on really good applications that they can use for their calendar on their cell phones?
My institution also works through Outlook, and so it provides me a more specialized calendar, which is really nice in the sense that I can put when I'm in and out of the office, so that automatically it filters out emails and responds to them saying that perhaps I'm in class, or I can have additional alerts for homework assignments and like differentiate them for notifications between like school, class, research, or whatever that may be.
Okay. And I think that's really cool because once you're graduating from college and you go out into industry or you're working on the campus in your field, you are going to probably use Microsoft Outlook, or my company, we just made that transition to the Gmail function. But they really do have cool functions inside of them that help you manage your day. We can have an entire workshop on the functions inside of the calendars, but what I recommend is for you guys to really mess around with your calendars as it pertains to Outlook. If it's Gmail, I think we've gotten away from Lotus Notes as much as we used to in the industry. Most people are Gmail or Microsoft Outlook. So the next item is alarm. So
What about
I'm listening.
what about iCal for MacBook?
So for the MacBook, it's called what?
Oh, is there an app for a MacBook? Using the iCalendar, so the calendar that comes on your.
Why don't you know what a MacBook is?
So does anybody on the line have any feedback for schedules as it pertains to the MacBook?
I know that with my iCal, it syncs with my Microsoft Outlook account, so I know that you can synchronize them. And so I do use both, I guess, if that answers that question.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay, are there any other questions as it pertains to setting up your calendars? That's a great question. So the next one that we have on maximizing our cell phones as it pertains to the time management are the alarms. So let's just get a raise of hands for those that are in the video chat. How many set an alarm to wake up? Okay. So when I was in college, and I'm not
Thanks, you too.
I'm not that much older than you guys, but it was really becoming extremely popular. And the alarm function was not as creative as it is now. I mean, you can literally set 20 alarms on your cell phones. So my recommendation is not only use your calendar, but use your alarm system to really keep you on a regimen, keep your routine down all day long. And if you're uncomfortable with having your alarm, make all these weird sounds, you can actually set different functions, different alarms.
Coupon, but I can't.
So who's ever thought about setting an alarm that says it's time to go to lunch, or it's time for me to take a nap, or it's time to stop studying? Has anybody ever done that before? Anyone set an alarm that says stop studying?
I wish.
But listen, it's about time management, right? And part of time management is having everything in its place. It's like building a budget if you're talking about finance. Really, all a budget is telling your money where to go as it pertains to finance. And so from a time management, a schedule and a routine is just telling your actions where to go, right? And to maximize the 24 hours. And so that's where the alarms, and I know this seems so minor, you're like, Brian, we're talking about calendars and alarms. Yes, because they keep you disciplined. And a lot of time management is truly about discipline. Okay, so what about turn off notifications? How many people actually use their turn off notifications on their phone? I do. I don't have a choice. So this is one that really would save you. It's kind of a new phenomenon that we're dealing with in the world now, because these are not even options for me. Right? I was in class when I was in college. I didn't have to worry about how many times I would have a Facebook, someone would like a picture that I put, or Instagram, someone would make a comment or something like that. So with the little ding, it used to be on the BlackBerry. I don't know if anybody used to have the BlackBerry and the red dot would pop up. These days, instead of the red dot, it's sending you this signal that says that some type of activity is going on your cell phone. And so what I'm asking for you is specific times, either times you're studying, times you're prepping for a test, times you're writing research papers, times you're doing research. It may be a smart decision to go ahead and put it on turn off those notifications just for a period of time so you can keep your focus. Now, with that being said, who is actually going to try to implement that? That's not an easy one to commit to. All right. So listen, this is one, the very last one as it pertains to maximize your cell phone, is one that I really recommend you take advantage of. And it's maximizing your camera. And you can say optimizing your camera as well. And so what I've been perfecting at my job is I use whiteboards all over my job, right? And so I take pictures of the whiteboard, because when you're using the whiteboard, you're very open in thoughts and you're very creative. And in the STEM world, there's many of sessions where you may be working on a formula, you may be working on an equation, you may be working on this research that you have all these brainstorm sessions. Well, most of the time we put them on whiteboards. And so for me, I have an actual section on my phone where I load my whiteboard pictures. And so all of that information is never lost. Now in class, I don't know what you guys' limitations are on taking pictures in your classroom, but using your camera as an education weapon is a very strong tool for you to use. So does anybody have any feedback on the camera piece? Are there anything that you like to share, best practices that you have that you use your camera for?
I use it for group work, especially if I'm like brainstorming with my lab mates on like future research ideas and things like that. And then we all have it, and it's rather simple that way. Yeah, and it's actually, it's one of the cooler ways these days to actually take notes. I remember, I write my notes down and say you want to share some of your notes with a classmate or a teammate on a project. Now, all I have to do is write my notes down, take a picture, and text it. And that's something that I highly recommend that you maximize, is the fact that your camera is one of the easiest communication tools as it pertains to sharing information beyond the picture. All right. So any questions on the cell phone before we transition? All right. So who feels comfortable with this statement? How difficult is this as a college student saying no and not having to explain yourself? Does anybody get caught into this wave? Always.
Come on, Sierra. How many times are you comfortable saying no? Not that often. So one of the reasons that we put this slide up, guys, is we're not trying to compare ourselves, right? So it's easy to say, you know, a STEM field versus another field. We're just saying, hey, the field you're in, it's difficult. If you choose a STEM field, it kind of elevates that at times, and there's a lot of demands on you. You have lab work, you have research, you have conferences, you have your normal day-to-day activities, life, family, etc. So there's a lot of demands on you. I think from a time management standpoint, one of the ways to maximize the time is feeling very comfortable that it's your time, right? The 24 hours that you have are yours, and there's not anyone else's. And you do not have to explain yourself to other people, right? You should be very comfortable saying no, and I have a schedule or I have a routine that I need to stick to, and I need to stay disciplined. And those that respect that are the type of people you need to keep around you. And if they don't respect that, then I think over time they'll understand that you're serious about this and that it's part of your pattern, and it'll be okay. So with that being said, knowing some of the struggles that you have, what are some of the things that you struggle saying no to as you're moving through your classes? Anyone have this struggle? Anyone over there in the Iowa students? You guys, anybody in the room have a struggle with saying no to anything? And she's smiling.
Someone put in the chat box opportunities.
Opportunities. What does that mean?
To me, that just means oftentimes it'll be an opportunity to gain authorship or to learn a new skill set or perhaps specialize in a new field to take an additional units. And it's always just hard to say, no, I really can't.
Okay. So that is actually very challenging, especially when you're doing well. It's almost like in school, the better you do, the more challenging it gets because those opportunities are presented to you. And the people who present them to you are presenting them from a good place, but it's up to you to decide if it's too much for you, if it's overwhelming, right? And so one of the things that it's easy to do as a STEM student is to agree to it, right? Yes, I can do that research. Yes, I can join you in this. Yes, I can do that summer internship. And at the same time, schedule that vacation with my friends. At the same time, go do some community work, community service, right? And you really can't do all of those things unless you have a really regimented approach to it, or you have to say no and put things in their perspective. And it's not the responsibility of the professor, it's not responsibility of the dean or your counselor to dictate what you truly can handle. It is up to us to say what is too much on our plate, right? And so some years you may have to decide that you cannot go to every single conference, right? There was a year where I didn't tell you guys this, but I stopped playing baseball in college because I actually wanted to go to an engineering conference. And I wanted to start my career, and I knew I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player. And I said, well, let me make a decision here and let me put my focus towards this conference. So I had to say no to something that was extremely important in order to maximize my potential in something that was even more important to me, which was developing a career and starting my post-college activities. So does anybody have any feedback before we transition on the concept of learning to say no without explaining yourself? All right. So I don't know who said this? Candace, I don't know if this was you earlier that said redoing experiments. That was you? Okay, you're on mute, but I saw you shaking your head. This is one of the biggest time management issues that you're going to deal with in college, especially those of you in your STEM fields. Doing things right the first time is very valuable. How many have had that situation where you may have had to retake a class, or you've seen people or friends have had to retake classes? Me. So with that being said, you just took what, 4 or 5 months of your time, and you had to redo it. You've also had to spend money twice. You've also had to register for the class twice. If it's research, redoing experiments, imagine how much time that you put towards an experiment and having to redo it and having to get it validated again by a professor. So in this STEM field and just in college in general, if you're able to really focus and execute and do things once, you will actually free yourself up a lot more than you believe. There's a lot of time when it's only done once. So are there any items that you guys struggle with besides redoing the experiments from a standpoint of doing it once? What are some of the activities that we feel like are like a lot of repeat activities in college?
My example is doing a Western blot. In the beginning, I had to repeat it a lot, just missing simple steps. If I was patient, I probably would have not made mistakes, but I guess that would be an example.
Okay. And so one of the ways to combat that, it sounds like you even had the answer. You said one of the ways was to just put a little more patience towards it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pre-planning prevents problems.
Pre-planning. And so I'll give you a term that I use. It's called proper planning. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So proper planning, if you're writing anything down, proper planning prevents poor performance. And if you wanted to take the poor out and just put an R, proper planning prevents repeat performance. You don't want to repeat this thing. So are there any other gaps, guys, that you're having as it pertains to completing things the first time? Okay. So this is one that in college, I know I wasn't really great at. As a professional, it's something that I have to master, or I don't know how I would survive on a daily basis. So just a little quick show of hands. How many people actually use a to-do list? Truly use a real to-do list. I see Deb's hand. If anyone's writing anything down, there's a beautiful book. It's called Juggling Elephants. Juggling Elephants. This book is a great tool to teach you how to manage a lot of activities at one time. But if you're not using a to-do list, then the question is, how do you focus on your objectives? You know, how are you aligning your thoughts with your actions? And how are you keeping less stress on your life by taking things out of your head and putting them on paper? So are there tools, I don't know if your universities have specific items. Is there any software or any apps or programs you guys could recommend for anyone on the call as it pertains to to-do list? And I'll give you one. Anyone uses iPhones? iPhone users? I see hands being raised. So on iPhones, who uses the notes function? I think that was Sierra. Sierra, do you use the note function?
No, I don't use the note function, but I like to use like the calendar, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so I highly recommend Sierra. Today, your life is going to be changed.
It's like, yeah.
When you use your notes, all you have to do, notes function is an app that comes with an iPhone. And I don't care if it's your to-do list, if it's a thought, if it's a suggestion, type it. You can categorize it, you can title it, it goes nowhere, and any note or any thought you have will always be saved. And I will show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see my phone, but it's something like this, notes. And what I do is I categorize them, I title them, and then at any time I can come back to a thought that I had maybe 2 years ago. If I have an idea for a workshop that I want to do with students, I'll just make a note about it. I can come back to that at any time. And because it's like a notebook paper, you can use it as a to-do list. Check out items. So on your campuses, have you provided any specific tools as it pertains to creating and executing on to-do lists?
I use this app called Notability, which is I think it's like $7 on the App Store. But it's really helpful to me because I've recently started using it to take notes in class on my iPad, and it has this function that it allows me to record my professors, not with a video camera, but so as I'm typing, and I go back to it and I just click on like any word that I typed, and then like the recording of whatever my professor said comes up. So I think that's a really useful app. Okay,
can you? I know you guys are doing the group session in Iowa. Are you able to type, spell out that app so Deb can put it in the chat room for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And one of the things that I appreciate that he said was also is that he spent $7, right? And so I know even when I was in college, and even now, sometimes you're like, why would I spend $7? Well, if this allows him to really stay structured and on task, that's $7 very well spent. You know, and that's going to help him multiply. That's just a small investment with a great return. And the name of the app is Notability. So just in case there's those that called in, it's Notability. Notability. Okay. That's great. All right. So as we continue to transition on the task and our checklist, one of the things that a to-do list helps you do is, you check off tasks that are completed, right? And you have like a little progress, and you build up this momentum, right? And you started feeling a little more successful. We got to make sure you reward yourself. One of the things about college is that we start our semester, and then we wait until the entire semester is over, and we feel like at the end is where we may decide to reward ourselves. If you build into your semester strategic moments where you have, you schedule your fun and you reward yourself if you complete activities. Then also, we don't like just doing actions. We don't like being told what to do, right? And so if you really think about from a time management standpoint, creating habits allows for you not to have your journey as task oriented, right? We don't want to be just all this task. And so what happens is the habit makes it as part of life. And it's not feeling like you're this robot. You just have to do these things on a daily basis. And then make sure you have relaxation time. When I was in college, I had certain days of the week or certain nights based off my classes where I purposely did nothing. And you need that time in life. Because remember, we said this is about having the proper balance. It's not about having the most items on your calendar. It's a scary thing in America. Some people feel as if they're really good if they have meetings on.
I mean, even if I wasn't
All right. So the next one is develop personal stress. So does anybody have any?
I'm gonna look it over before I make this quiz for tomorrow.
It's finalized. I just need.
Oh.
Yeah, I just wanted somebody else to have another perspective. LSAM.
Okay.
Before I turn it into them.
Okay. All right. Tried to get everybody, Deb. I'm not sure if I got them. All right. So, hey guys, on the develop stress relievers, does anybody have any recommendations that they'd like to share with the group on very good stress relievers that help you in college that may be outside the norm that I have on the list here? And don't say studying more. Don't say studying.
I know for me, like, if perhaps I can't I don't have time to take off. If I like move my location, like I go to the coffee shop instead of doing my homework in the lab or back at my house or something like that, it ends up me feeling de-stressed, and also I'm more productive that way. Like I can enjoy a coffee and a cookie while I'm doing, linear algebra or whatever it may be.
Oh, that's actually a great point. I don't know if everyone kind of keeps up with the times with how corporate America has transitioned, but I'm really plugged in. And there's a lot of corporations that are trying to make sure that they keep themselves attractive to our next generation, which is you, right? And so our next generation likes to have times where they work from home, or they work from the coffee shop, or they work from McDonald's, or whatever the case may be. And it doesn't mean that they're less productive. It's actually that they like to be in this space, and the space creates, creativity or whatnot, but they don't have that. That's not the way of the past, right? But that is actually how businesses are looking at the future. And when they're looking to hire students, they're using it as a way to attract you into their company by using, they'll call it flexible hours, or, some days you can come into the office and some days you don't have to come in. So I think that's a beautiful statement, that you can actually relax just by shifting your location. Are there any other items, guys, from stress relief standpoint that we feel like really benefit us in college? And you can say partying helps. Hey, I was a college student too, so I understand. Nothing wrong with having fun. One that I would say that some of you may not think of as a stress reliever is actually coming to the conferences. When you travel and you get away from your campus and you get away from the city you see every day in your state, you see new people, you get to meet great professors, you get to see my face at the conference every year. These are stress relievers, right? And I noticed that a lot of students go to the conferences and they get really nervous because they're presenting a research. It's actually supposed to be a moment where you can actually relax and enjoy yourself, right? Because you've already put the proper preparation in. All right? So we have a lot of really smart people on the line tonight. Can anybody take a shot at explaining the difference between priorities and deadlines? I see a couple people that want to do it. They're looking really hard. Come on, you can do it. I see it. I see you. Everybody's like looking at the screen really hard.
I feel as though priorities are more objectives, and deadlines are a little bit more task oriented, as in the sense that they have to be completed by this time. So if I'm submitting a resubmission, it has to be done within 6 weeks. And so that due date is a deadline. Whereas I do have other priorities in the sense that I have other assays at the lab that need to be completed. But my schedule is a little bit more flexible on when and where that they are done.
Absolutely. I mean, that's spot on. One of the things that we get caught up in, I've noticed with a lot of students, is you have a lot of deadlines. You truly do. I get that. In college, you have all type of deadlines. But don't allow a deadline to have you not put things in their proper priority slot. So just because it has a deadline doesn't mean it's the most important thing to do right now, right? And that's where having the proper schedule and understanding the importance of things allows you to prioritize appropriately, right? And so this is just a really simple concept that I want you to, we're not going to perfect it tonight, but I want you to just to write it down and really think about, do I prioritize appropriately based off of certain deadlines? Because I don't want you to forget one than the other. Okay. Any questions centered around this? Anybody like to make any other statements around priority versus deadlines? Okay. So guys, we're kind of, the time is 7:48, and I want to make sure you have any time for open questions. So we wanted to leave you with just some key takeaways as it pertains to time management. One is developing routines that work for you. So go on the internet, there's all type of routines and patterns people can give you, but make sure you do something that works for you and don't feel uncomfortable if it's not the same routine. I don't know if anybody's on the line. I'm a little odd. I was the college student who would wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to study. Am I the weird person? They said yes. Everybody says yes. Listen, but I knew that I wasn't the late night.
That's weird.
I like to go to sleep at night. My dorm, I was like with crazy baseball players. They were loud at night. So I actually went to sleep, and in the morning, I realized that it was probably my sophomore year in college. I realized that I actually retained the information much better if I studied in the morning, right? And when we say develop a routine that works for you, truly do some self-reflection and understand your patterns throughout the day and kind of your patterns throughout the week, and develop a system that makes sense for you. Also, we talked about maximizing our cell phones. I believe, Deb, we had an app called Notability. And then we also said make sure we use the email, Outlook, and the iCalendar. It's called iCal, actually, for short term, for scheduling. Learning to say no, which I saw a few faces that were laughing when we talked about learning to say no. Do things once, right? We talked about that as it pertains to not doing our experiments twice, having patience, right? Patience helps you do things one time, and keep your STEM life balance, right? So what you guys are pursuing is very admirable, and it's very difficult, and it's greatly appreciated that you're doing it, because we need to elevate ourselves as it pertains to our math and sciences, and also enjoy each day. So if you take anything out of today, don't stress out about time. There's more time in the day than you truly believe, but if you actually put together a system, you will be successful. All right, so we're not going to go into a whole lot more information, but we do want to kind of open the line to just general questions that you guys may have as it pertains to time management, and any feedback from us for tonight's session. I know, look, you guys, most people are in what, first or second week of school?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Second week. All right, so give me some of the questions you guys have right now, and if it's not around time management, just ask. We got a wealth of knowledge on the phone, and we can help. The goal is to help you throughout this school year, so don't feel uncomfortable. So we got one question. I have a hand raised.
Will this PowerPoint be available to us?
Deb is shaking her head yes. Deb is saying,
Also, we are recording this and we will post it as well.
Thank you.
okay. Now, Deb, I'm gonna have to learn my hand raise feature. I have is it OB or OBI?
OB, like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Okay, Obi, was that you that just asked a question about the PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I'll just give you a little bit of information. If anybody wants to kind of stay in contact or ask me any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm a plant manager. I run a $90 million operation. I got about 100 employees that I lead, besides running my company and speaking and writing. So regardless, if you have questions, I'm going to be there for you. I will answer them. I think we have a couple of students on the line that have worked with me in the past. I don't know if Paul's still on the line. He can let you know I'm very responsive if you reach out. With that being said,
For those of you that have joined us just via telephone, if you could, please respond to the email where you saw this message saying that this opportunity was available, and let me know that you did attend, because I would love for you to be able to fill out a survey giving us feedback about the topic, as well as provide ideas for other topics that we might want to cover this year.
okay. And that's a good point. That's actually a perfect segue. For those who are able to see the screen, we are talking about our next subject matters. Our next subjects are September 14th. We'll be discussing personal branding, how to successfully promote yourself. And then on September the 28th, we're going to start preparing ourselves for a lot of the October conferences. And so we're going to talk about presenting research, creating and presenting a scientific poster. Before we even get off the call tonight, does anybody have any feedback or those topics? The ones you can give me a thumbs up or anything, or does those topics interest you at all?
Do you have any advice on, I guess, finding out what kind of routines? Because, you know, as the semester goes on, we don't have as much time to experiment and see what works for us. So any advice on, you know, where to find routines that we could, you know, look into?
Yeah, you know what I'll do is at my job, I actually have what is called a standard work. And what my standard work is what I do every day, what I must do on a weekly basis, what I must do on a monthly basis. I'm going to like gut it and take out, you know, my activity, and I'll send it over to Deb, and we'll make sure that that layout, that format is available to you. And I'm assuming Deb could easily get that out to you. And if not, I'm going to transition back one slide. If you email me, and that's KIPNspire@gmail.com, I will make sure I send that directly to you if you send me a message.
Thank you.
No problem at all. That's what we're here for. Okay, guys. Any questions? Any feedback? Any concerns you guys have? I want you to take advantage of this opportunity. Could you
name those other apps, or could you give that list of apps again? Notability, iCal.
Microsoft Outlook is Microsoft. Gmail is the Google Mail app. And then the MacBook has the iCalendar. If you do have an iPhone, we also talked about with Sierra earlier about using the Note app that comes with the iPhone. Now, another way for time management, I know this one's a little bit more complex, but it actually does work for some people, is actually making voice notes, leaving the voice messages. It's something that I'm sort of starting to use a little bit more of now. It's actually a more old school type of method, but we kind of got away from it with the use of our cell phones. The cell phones has a lot of recording devices, and you can leave a lot more voice messages. I don't know, does anybody on the line use like voice recordings to help you out at all? I think Candace, I don't know if Candace was making a statement there or not. Okay.
I record
What was that,
my
Candace?
cell phone. I record the lectures through my cell phone.
Oh, wow. How do you do that?
Let me look at the app.
Okay.
AC notes. And you could label the lecture. That's how I and then put it in a specific folder for the class.
Are you able to type it in the chat feature?
Yeah, but it works for. I have it on my iPhone. I'm not sure if it works for other like Android.
Okay. One of the things I've noticed is that if there is something specific to an iPhone, usually you can go to Google or some search engine, and they'll tell you what the comparable app is for the other devices. ACN notes. That's a really good one. So for those that are not on the webinar, it's ACN OTES, so AC Notes. And it's an app that you can actually use to help record lectures. Okay. So are there any other questions, concerns, any feedback you guys want to give us tonight?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I guess you were reviewing was it said keep the STEM lifestyle. Do you know? I missed that part.
Hold on. Repeat that again.
One of the things that I guess you were like reviewing on the thing was it said keep the STEM lifestyle, and I missed it, so I don't know.
The STEM life balance.
Mm-hmm.
So and Deb, maybe chime in with me here, but what we were thinking about when we thought about STEM life balance is we've noticed with some of our STEM students that it's very demanding, right? Very challenging, and it really can soak you into just doing your STEM degree, your STEM field, your STEM focus. If you don't keep a proper balance, you can really lose yourself. And one of the things that we're going to do at the conference this year, just as a sneak peek at the conference in October, is we're going to highlight like extremely successful STEM students that are out in their career or have gone on to get their PhDs, and then the odd, crazy things we do in our personal life, right? So by day, I work in a STEM field. By night, I still have time to do workshops. I also have a 7-month-old son, right? And I play with him, and he does crazy things with me, right? And so we still live life. We still have fun. And I don't want you to get caught up in STEM, so caught up in STEM that you lose sight of yourself, right? And so without that proper balance, you won't have the longevity, right? We want you to have longevity, not just get the degree. So that's kind of where that concept of STEM life balance came from.
All right.
And that is a theme for our conference session. So we will hit that hard at the conference.
And we want you, we know it's stressful. You can see it on the students. Like my first time working with LSMCE, the first conference, I had a couple students, and you could just see it on their faces. They were thinking about an exam more than they were thinking about the workshop, right? They were maybe 100 miles or more away from their university, and it was still on their mind. And it was because we didn't have the proper balance, right? So the proper balance would allow you to be in the moment So if you're studying for a test, you're studying. If you're not studying and you're having fun with your friends, you're truly in that moment with your friends, right? And so we want to make sure that we stay in those moments. All right. Any other questions, guys? Deb, I think we're over on our time here by 2 minutes, but if there's any last minute questions, I definitely don't mind answering, or someone in the community can help share. I guess just for last minute feedback, guys, was this helpful to anyone tonight, or you guys look forward to doing this again?
Most certainly.
Yes, very much so.
We are going to, as you see, we're going to talk about branding in our next subject, and then we're going to talk about research in the 28th. What I do ask is Deb sent out I think Deb sent out a survey to the university. If you guys could really help us out and fill out the survey to make sure that we are putting the proper subjects on the line for you. Just so you know the format, we're going to do 7 or 8 calls each semester this year. And we're going to cover subjects like salary negotiations. We're going to cover internships, how to prepare for a career fair, how to prepare for interviews, how to develop resumes. But if there's subjects that you guys specifically vote on and, trump some of those, I will absolutely make sure that we prepare for you. And if there are subjects, the other thing is, if there are subjects where we know that we're not the experts on, we will bring experts on the line, and they can share information to help you as well. So it's really, the objective, guys, is not to bring you together and bore you and make you go to sleep. The objective is to be of service to you and help you make it through college very successful, and continue your career and go and achieve greatness, guys. Because I already know each one of you will be successful, because not many people on a Wednesday night are listening to a professional development session. So I already know you guys are special. All right. Well, yeah, if that's all for tonight, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. And I thank you for coming out, and I'll transition right back one slide. If anybody needs to reach out to me, contact me. If not, Deb has the survey information, and it looks like September the 14th. We'll be back together, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.